Hi guys, hope you're all doing well. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to, talk about, what is currently going on as energy shifts based on my interpretation of the astrology that is going on. It's a little crazy, and I know a lot of you have been going through some ups and downs within, the current status of what's going on around the world. Just before we get into the breakdown of what is going on astrologically, I'd like for you to take a look at my website if you're interested in purchasing one of my crystal bracelets. You can also take a look at my newest bracelet, Calling in Your Person, how to really use the energies that we are given right now to enhance our vibration, how to get into a better alignment with what we're trying to call in. But in order to call something in, we need to be at the right vibration. So if we're at a lower vibrational frequency, meaning we are vibrating in fear and low self-worth, we don't believe that we deserve better, we don't believe that we can align with a better version of ourselves, and this is where the crystal comes in and helps you activate those energies. Now, it takes a lot of inner work, guys, and what better time to do the inner work during this pandemic where most of us are on lockdown. God bless all the workers who are on the front line, who are helping us, stay safe and keep healthy. So with all that being said, thank you so much for tuning in and hanging out with me. Hopefully these messages help you in some type of way and give some sort of perspective. But you always, like I say, use your own intuition, practice your discernment. And this is part of the messages that I'm going to give today. So let's begin. So you probably have been feeling the intensity in the air when it comes to this hope, right? There's a lack of hope, there's a lack of faith in the air right now. There's a lot of change in the air. Now, I've said this many times before. As of January 2020, this year, we had that huge conjunction when Pluto and Saturn met up. Saturn is the planet of limitation, restriction. It does talk about government, authority figures. Pluto is the planet of transformation. It breaks things down. It's the planet of death. It's the planet that's dismantling the old. With that south node that was there, the south nodes of the moon, in this case, mean the karmic, the old way, the old skill set, the old patterns, the old behaviors, the old ways of being that we needed to release from those past lifetimes. So when Saturn, Pluto, and the South Node met, it was like a combustion. It was the catalyst to everything that is going on right now in the world. So, the dismantling and the breaking down that Pluto's doing with Saturn, with the government structures, with the belief systems, because Jupiter was there. Jupiter does represent belief systems and the ideal ways of believing. All of that is slowly dismantling. It will take a few years for it to all come together, but this is what we're currently going through. We're in preparation mode for what is coming. So I know a lot of you feel like this is the worst that it can get. This is just the beginning. And it's not to invoke any fear. This is to invoke really awareness and preparation, mostly. Preparation for yourself. So getting ready on how to start processing, how to start looking at things differently. Now you're going to be, receiving so much information from so many different sources, from so many different people, right? At this point, we're all trying to connect with each other because we're all trying to feel this sense of, I understand you, you understand me. What are you finding? What am I finding? Let's share it. So we are coming together as a collective in that sense, because Saturn is in Aquarius. Saturn meaning that, we're moving towards community life, community thinking. However, there's some changes that need to happen before we come into unity, because the collective, most of the collective is still going through that shedding of the old skin. A lot of us have been conditioned to think that money, power, greed, control is the way to go. We've been conditioned to, go to our 9 to 5, 8 to 4 job, and the only purpose in life was to go to work and come back home and make money and pay the bills. There's more to life than just that. And this is what the planetary aspects are telling us. They're shifting in that direction to tell us that things need to change, not only from a global perspective, but also individually in our own life. Because if we don't change what's in our own life, personal lives, how can the world change? Okay, so let's begin. There's 4 retrogrades that are happening. Okay, so that Venus, planet of relationships, money, pleasures, possessions, beauty, retrograding in Gemini. I have a video about that, so please do check that out. What is that going to bring in as themes? We have Saturn in retrograde. We have Jupiter in retrograde. And we have, I think, another planet. So Venus, Jupiter, Saturn. I'm missing another one. Pluto. So essentially when planets are retrograding, it means that it's slowing the energy down. It's trying to reset. Okay? So it's giving the collective this time to pause and look back and review. And it's going to bring in different themes. What are we reviewing? What are we going over? Well, we look to Gemini, Venus, especially because Venus goes into retrograde every 18 months in the same sign, every 8 years in the same sign. Okay, it goes retrograde every 18 months, but in the same sign. So now we're in Gemini. It goes retrograde into Gemini every 8 years. So this is why as an astrologer, we ask people what was going on in 2020, May 2020, because May 2012, because 8 years later now we're having to review what went on in May 2012. When it comes to relationships, when it comes to money, when it comes to businesses, when it comes to projects. So those themes will be repeating themselves. Now, what is really huge here and what the message is going to be about is the north and the south node. The north node of the moon and the south nodes of the moon. The north node really speaks of where the collective is heading. Okay? So when we talk about the north nodes or the south nodes of the moon, it's emotional. It's where are we heading? We're heading towards Gemini. The north node will be in Gemini for the next 18 months. The south node will be in Sagittarius for the next 18 months. We just moved out of south node in Capricorn and north node in Cancer. So we had 18 months to be in north node in Cancer. What does this mean? North node in Cancer, we had all this time to move towards people, places, and things and situations that feel good. So did you do the work with south node in Capricorn? South node in Capricorn that wants us to let go of the old structures, of the old ways, the old skill sets. That had to be let go. That had to be released. So if you're still releasing south node in Capricorn, well, it makes sense that your Venus in retrograde will be that much more difficult. Because now we're moving towards north node in Gemini. North node in Gemini, we're moving towards an earth sign, an air sign that is very mercurial. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. So we're going to get a lot of information. Okay, so within your own relationship, you might feel like, okay, oh my God, what's going on? There's a lot of information being thrown at me. My head is spinning. I'm trying to process things. And at the same time, we're letting go of Sagittarius energy. So the north node being in Gemini, south node Sagittarius, it's saying you got to let go of being in denial. So Sagittarius being in this position, it's saying you're holding on to ideals. You're holding on to a belief system because Sagittarius rules belief systems, philosophy, religion. It's that ideal notion, right? Sagittarius is the most curious. It's that long-term learner. It wants to continuously learn and learn, but we're not in a position of continuously being curious about things. Right now, we're letting go of that ideal way of seeing things. And we're trying to really gather information in a more realistic way. Okay, so that's the difference between Sagittarius energy and Gemini energy. Sagittarius is more idealistic, Gemini more realistic, dealing with what we have in front of us, as it deals with the third house. Okay, Gemini, third house is our environment, not long distance environment like Sagittarius. Sagittarius energy is travel, long-term, long distance travel, foreign cultures. No, we're getting rid of that. This is why traveling will be difficult in the next 18 months, just because that south node isn't Sag. So I know a lot of you are going to be disappointed to hear all this, but I'm not here to sugarcoat and tell you that everything is going to look the way you've been hoping. We need to start getting real and start letting go of that denial. Because if we don't, we're constantly going to be disappointed. And we don't want to constantly live in disappointment and deception. So in order to not be in a place of deception constantly in your own life, you need to start looking at the facts. So this is what the North Node in Gemini is telling us. Now there's a ton of information. Now what's the challenge here with a North Node in Gemini is that because there's so much information that is being given to you, you're going to have to learn how to sort through all that information. You're going to have to learn to sort through what's real, what's delusion. That's difficult, right? Now, how are we going to do that? We're going to do that with Neptune. Neptune is squaring Venus. So this is why Neptune is the planet of imagination, illusion, deception. It can be delusion. When it's squaring, it's creating conflict. It's creating a storm between Venus, relationships, money. How do we view relationships and money and pleasures and attraction? It's creating a challenge here for a lot of people. Why? Because if you're leaning more towards the delusion and the hope that Sagittarius is trying to pull here on you, it leads to more deception. So the answer here, the solution here would be to really lean on your intuition with Neptune. Neptune is, the light side of Neptune is spirituality, it's intuition. Leaning on our dreams. The dream space also gives us signs and synchronicities. So practicing discernment right now with the North Node in Gemini and the South Node in Sagittarius is so crucial. Okay, now Saturn being, the planet, the Lord of Karma, they call him. Okay, he only gives out good karmic payouts to those who have done the work. Now, depending on your karmic lessons, everyone has karmic lessons to learn. Okay, we've all signed up for this. If this is something you don't believe in, then maybe this is not a video for you. Okay. Because astrologically, Saturn deals with heavy-duty lessons in this life. So whatever lessons you've signed up for, and you're going to see what's triggering you, okay? Well, you're probably asking me, well, Em, what lessons have I signed up for? What's triggering you? What bothers you? What's creating chaos in your life? How are you responding? How are you reacting? What work are you putting in to subside, okay, that craziness? It's a lot of shadow work. It's a lot of going within. Like I'm looking at my card here. Shadow work is really looking at the shadow aspects of your being. What aspects of yourself are not allowing you to shine? What aspects of yourself are not allowing you to be fulfilled? Is it because you're just stuck at home? Well, there's a shadow there. If you're not allowing yourself to be grateful for whatever it is that you have in your life, despite the craziness that's outside of it, then that's where your shadow is. A lack of gratitude, a lack of knowing and seeing your blessings in life. So that's just an example. But for the ones who've been working a lot on their shadow work, their shadow sides, Saturn is giving out a lot of karmic payouts, but you have to make a decision. You have to really make a decision on which way are you going. Are you deciding to stay in a karmic relationship? Because relationships are a big theme right now. If you are stuck in a relationship where you're not getting that North Node in Cancer, that emotional fulfillment that you've been wanting from within, or you've been hopeful that it'll somehow come from the outside world or from your current partner who is not really meeting your needs and your wants. We're in Sun and Taurus here, people. Your needs and your wants are coming up. Then there will be challenges, and it's looking at the reality of it all with Neptune there squaring Venus, giving us all that confusion. How are you going to sort through the confusion? Are you going to buy into it? Are you going to lean towards the dark, the shadow aspects, and stay in fear and stay in low self-esteem and low self-worth and low standards, low expectations? Or are you going to empower yourself and take a risk? This is a lot about taking risks. Okay, so if you're not taking chances, you're not taking risks, you're not betting on yourself, Saturn will not give you those karmic payouts, unfortunately, especially now that he is going into retrograde. Forget about those karmic payouts. The karmic payouts are right now in this moment as I'm doing the video. As Saturn goes into retrograde, things slow down. The collective might get frustrated. The collective who has not been working on their shadow aspects, on their inner work. Now, what else did I want to say? And again, so it's always going back to the spirit, intuition. Your inner wisdom is the key to all of this. Now, it won't be easy for a lot of us who are still trying to sort through all this crazy, world, and it's going to get worse. Okay, it always has to get to a point of extreme craziness in order for things to fall. It's like the Tower card in the tarot. Things have to come, things have to crumble, things have to be at its worst position for us to really wake up and say enough is enough. So when is enough going to be enough? We're going to see in the next few months in 2020. But the message here is really relying on your intuition. Don't rely on external factors. Don't rely on what people are saying. Don't rely on, really take it, analyze it, interpret it. How does it resonate with you? Do you even need that information? Do you need that person? Do you need, whatever it is, you have to start figuring out what really feels good to you at this point. Because if we start getting caught up in the craziness without learning how to discern, it will bring a lot of turmoil. It will bring a lot of torment. It will bring a lot of this. It will bring a lot of that. It will bring a lot of this. But we have the opportunities. It's funny how all these cards are popping up. The possibilities are there for us to really look at things from a different perspective. But it starts with us. What choices are you going to make that will lead you towards a place of more certainty? And the certainty is not going to come from outside or, outside of you. It's going to come from within you. And that's hard. This is something that I've been working on for the last few years. So if you rely on family and friends and boyfriends, girlfriends, husband, wives, children, outside world, job, employer, boss, government, if you're relying on that to make you feel good and not brokenhearted and feeling this sense of I'm lost, I'm confused, if you're relying on that outside world, it's going to be difficult. So I'm hoping that these messages were helpful. I'm going to continue delivering messages like this. I know a lot of these astrological transits will be bringing in a lot of panic and fear. But again, it's about what are you going to buy into? Okay, you get to decide what you engage with as information. So whatever it is that you're watching, it's a choice that you're making to watch that news report or that media outlet. Every choice you make is yours. So be more mindful of the steps you take in your life right now. very small action steps here. It could just be about watching TV. That is an issue. What are you watching? What are you engaging in? Because your spirit is guiding everything. However, if you say, well, I'm gonna engage in fear, then that's where your shadow work comes in. Why are you, you have to ask yourself, why are you so inclined to listen to an outside perspective instead of going within? So it says a lot about how you trust yourself. Okay, so trusting yourself, big thing here. So guys, I'm wishing you a beautiful weekend, a beautiful day, night, wherever you are in the world. I will pull out a card here just to give you guys some advice. I feel like I need to do that before, within the next few weeks, okay? Within the next few weeks, pointing us in that direction. Ask help from others. Who are we connecting with is also like what I was saying, asking help from others. That depends on, I think a lot of us are going to find out who we can truly trust. Like I said, recovery. So for the ones who are wondering, are we going to be kind of stuck in this? Well, I think so. There's this theme of recovery. There's this theme of just slowing down. 4 planets are in retrograde. The energy is telling us to slow down, to look at things. There's going to be signs. Look for a sign. There's going to be more messages coming in about how the situation will improve. But we need to follow the light. You see how she's going towards the light? If we continuously focus on the fear and on the anxiety and on the things that are not clear, because they won't get clear right away. They won't be clear. The more we become deceived, the more we are in fear, the more we are in paranoia. That's all Neptunian. So it depends. Are you going to buy into the Neptune energy, the shadow aspects of Neptune, or the light energy, which is really trusting in the universe's powers, in God, in your own, look, again, help improving health. This is all about getting aligned, getting your chakras, your energy points aligned and balanced. If you're in fear and if you're in anxiety and depression and confusion, if you live that way, it's telling me here that your chakras are not exactly balanced. You need to get aligned with your own truth, with what you believe is right. Okay, so I'm wishing you guys, again, a beautiful weekend if you're watching this on the weekend, and I will catch you on the next one. Sending you guys lots and lots of blessings. Take care.